War has always been about power. But sometimes, power wasn't numbers. It wasn't courage. It was invention. Long before modern technology, ancient armies built weapons so terrifying, their enemies believed they were magic. These were the secret weapons of ancient warfare. Our story begins on the vast grasslands of Eurasia, thousands of years ago, where warfare first became more than steel and strength. Steppe warriors developed something deeply unsettling. They poisoned their arrows, using mixtures of toxins, animal remains, and decaying matter. They turned even small wounds into death sentences. Soldiers didn't just fear being hit, they feared what happened after. Infection, fever, slow death. This was one of the earliest forms of biological warfare. Proof that ancient war was already psychological. But fear would soon take a much larger shape. In the classical age, armies introduced a weapon that didn't just kill. It terrified war elephants, towering over soldiers, armored and unstoppable. These animals crashed into infantry lines like living tanks. Horses panicked. Formations collapsed. Chaos spread instantly. Commanders used elephants not only for destruction, but for sok, a weapon designed to break morale before blades even met. Yet as civilizations grew, war changed again. Battles were no longer fought only in open fields. Cities became targets, and that required machines. Siege towers emerged as one of the most intimidating weapons of the ancient world. Massive wooden structures, sometimes taller than city walls, rolled slowly toward fortifications. From the top, archers fired downward. Soldiers crossed directly onto enemy walls. What once felt like safety behind stones suddenly became vulnerability. War was no longer just combat. It had become engineering. While the West built upward, innovation in the East focused on speed. Ancient Chinese armies developed a weapon that looked simple, but changed defensive warfare entirely. The repeating crossbow. With the lever mechanism, soldiers could fire multiple bolts rapidly without complex training. It sacrificed power for consistency, turning ordinary troops into reliable defenders. Fortresses became harder to assault. Armies could hold positions longer. Technology began shaping strategy. And then came fire. In the medieval world, one weapon stood apart from all others. Not because of its size, but because of its mystery. Greek fire. A flammable liquid deployed through siphons mounted on ships. It burned even on water. Enemy fleets watched flames spread across the sea itself, something that seemed impossible. Attempts to extinguish it often made it worse. The formula was guarded so closely that it was eventually lost to history. For centuries, it gave its users a devastating advantage in naval warfare. But what makes these weapons remarkable isn't just their effectiveness. It's what they reveal. Ancient armies were constantly experimenting. They blended science, psychology, engineering, and secrecy. Poison turned wounds into fear. Elephants turned size into terror. Siege towers turned architecture into strategy. Repeating crossbows turned speed into defense. Greek fire turned chemistry into legend. Each innovation changed how wars were fought and how soldiers thought about survival. Because the greatest weapon has never been a sword. It has always been the idea behind it. And many of those ideas remain lost. Some formulas disappeared. Some machines were forgotten. Some secrets were buried with the empires that created them. History remembers victories, but hidden inside those victories were weapons few people truly understood. The real power of ancient warfare wasn't the brute force, it was imagination. And that may be the most dangerous weapon humanity has ever possessed.